Now think about this. Let me ask you about the ethics of colonization. Now,
Right.
the Earth is a ball, and we're all stuck in this sort of prison planet where there's no escape, and it's just a bunch of people, now 8 billion of us. Imagine if we just respected the natives in every land, and because we're sort of like mostly, I guess, European,
Yeah.
we stayed in Europe and we didn't leave. Would you say that was just like the only fair thing to do? To leave all the natives throughout the entire unknown world to run the world as they saw fit? Or do you think they're just conducting tribal wars on each other all the time anyway, and it serves them right if they haven't invented guns yet?
I mean, that did happen, but then how far back do you want to go, man? Like, do you want to go to the Neanderthals and the Denisovians? Like, because
what's a Denisovian?
They're like the Russian version of the Neanderthal.
Yeah, I want to go back all the way. If you're talking about nature, we're not talking about just humans anymore, are we?
Well, humans are the first humans who would have been similar to those tribal ones from back in the day would have been the ones to kill off all the Neanderthals and all the mammoths and the giant creatures and shit like that.
Yeah.
And then they people came from Africa. They went places first and took over, you know? So
let's talk about two specific. Okay, well, I don't think it's equal to talk about American Indians who were they were just Mongolians who went across the, is it called Bering Strait?
Yeah, that's right.
When Alaska connected to Kamchatka?
Because I think that whole land, I think it was mainly Mongolians, but then I think there was a mixture of races that over a 10,000 year period, got together and mated, and then they became the American Indians.
Right, so they're nowhere near as old as the Aborigines.
No, but they're still just as native, aren't they?
No, not as native. Nativeness must surely be dictated by the number of years.
Well, they could have been they could have some distant Aboriginal blood because there could have been people from the Aboriginal Australian.
Well, how do you get from Australia? No, they would have gone down from the north to Australia, wouldn't they? Down from
but
Vietnam.
But not all. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, but then not all of them would have gone that way. Some of them might have gone north. Some of them could have gone south. So the same people.
Yeah.
There could be. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not
saying.
Well,
what are you saying? That would have been the same year that split would have happened, basically. Because I mean, Aborigines look.
It happened over tens of thousands of years. It's
closer to Africans.
Yeah, you can't really think of it as in it happened over a generation or something like that, you know? This would have been a progressive thing that happened over thousands of years.
But American Indians, or let's say I don't know what they like to be called. What's the politically correct term for American Indians now?
I'm not Native Americans. I'm not quite sure.
Close enough.
I don't know what the PC.
But they definitely look Chinese.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In a certain kind of, let's say, 1,000, 2,000 year kind of way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Sure.
But Aborigines don't look like anyone who would have come from China.
No, but you're right. But there's
no way they came directly from Africa to Australia. There's no way that happened.
No, they would have crossed the land because Papua New Guinea came straight across to Australia back then. So they would have walked through Southeast Asia.
Maybe had canoes or some other technology.
Over Papua New Guinea and into northern Queensland, and then from there they've gone to the whole of Australia.
The distribution of humanity, I would say, has got to be to do with humans all wanting to fucking kill each other, right? Why else would there be Eskimos? Why else Inuit, right? Why would anyone go up north to live in the snow and the freezing cold instead of going, you know what? This sucks. I'm sick of eating seals and living in igloos. Let's go down south a bit, away from the fucking freezing cold.
Go to the beaches. Yeah,
go to the beach, right? It was because there was so much barbarian just trying to fucking kill each other, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was just trying to murder each other for different shit and take their stuff and rape their women. That's the reason they would have just fled. There was a lot of fleeing, I think, going on in the early days.
I think you're probably right. There was a lot of fleeing.
And so the Aborigines would be no exception. They would have just been like, all right, these guys are fucked. These Neanderthals are trying to kill us.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of different types of human, like at least 4 different types of human in those days.
Yes.
Neanderthals and, I don't know, Cro-Magnon men. I don't know what the deal is in terms of order of things.
Yeah, there's quite a lot. They keep filling in gaps. So there's.
But they coexisted and they didn't like each other.
No, they didn't.
It's like a monkey trying to make friends with a gorilla. Like, no. We own this land. This is our territory. You're small. We're big. You're dead.
Yeah. No. I think Neanderthals were on average stronger than the average human.
So you would have needed a group of humans to take them down.
Well, no. They just had better weapons, better spears and shit like that.
Could Neanderthals use weapons?
I think they would have had like sticks and stones and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then the hominids had
Homo sapiens.
The Homo sapiens had like spears and like spear tips and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah, it's interesting that we really don't. I mean, we still have ape cousins alive today. Yeah. We haven't killed them all. There's still gorillas and all the types of monkeys. There are heaps of monkeys.
Yeah, but they're not the same ones that we came from.
No, I know. But it's just like they've got fingers and they look in the face like the same as we do.
Yeah, they do.
Compared to an octopus, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. No, it's pretty scary when you look at them really closely, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's stupid to think that there was no kind of evolution.
I think so. Yeah. It's stupid to think that.
So when I'm talking about the mathematics of ethics, what is worse, having Aborigines own a gigantic continent where they're just fighting with each other anyway, right? They're killing each other, like raping, pillaging, and all that sort of stuff. And then we just breed ourselves into a massive billions of people in Europe and just say, look, we're not allowed to go anywhere else. Or like, let's just build ships and explore off what it looks like the end of the world. Just keep going that way.
It's funny that, like, I think it's difficult to talk about those kind of ethics in hindsight, you know, like, because the ethics in that today are very different to the ethics back then.
Because ethics in nature don't exist, do they? There are no ethics in nature. A spider just fucking catches a fly and just fucking sucks its face out of it.
Yeah. There's just equilibrium.
I mean, we invented ethics, and this goes back to my questions to you about vegetarianism. Yeah. Like I'm opposed to nature as a vegetarian. Vegetarians are opposed to the natural order of things.
Yeah.
We want ethics to win.
Yes.
Because we are empathetic towards what would that feel like for ourselves or somebody we love to be like rounded up like in Auschwitz and fucking murdered.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what happens to animals, right?
Yeah.
So to talk about ethics at all, it's like the way we're discussing this is correct. We're talking about multiple generations over thousands of years. We're not talking about current event shit like most people do with races and shit, which is basically dumbass language for what we're discussing.
Yeah.
Like talking about whether your skin color is fucking different from another person. It doesn't fucking matter, right?
Yeah.
It's so minor. But when we talk about the concept of nature winning and just everybody's just having anarchy, or whether or not we have organization and we start deciding ethics matter, let's not murder, steal, and rape. Let's have punishments for that even, right? So that we can clean up society and keep it, nice in terms of the socialization of things, so that we can do something more than just take what we want in the immediate term. It's like thinking ahead. Like, it's actually beneficial even if you weren't trying to be kind about it. Like that's why, I mean, you might say monkeys are nice to each other by grooming each other, but you might say, okay, well, no, they just want to go further in their society and get stuff in return.
Yeah, for sure.
because you might do something out of greed, but then I guess because maybe it's our religion. I was raised a Catholic. So you were an altar boy. I mean, I don't know how many dicks you sucked, but whatever.
Oh, heaps.
Like, how do you have ethics without bullshitting about, some sort of God looking over you? I mean, you can make it up and say it's beneficial for the purpose of getting stuff in return, but that's not true real ethics where you're selfless. That's selfish ethics in a way,
But I think just the pursuit of having a nice, safe society where no one's fleeing anywhere, I think that's enough. You don't need a God to have a want for that.
But monkeys, like apes, like all apes, basically groom each other, right? Pick fleas off each other's backs and stuff.
Yeah, because they know they're going to get it back to them.
But not only that, they'll get protection. They'll be in the favor of the greyback or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And also, this is another way for a greyback to think twice about killing them for being a threat to be stealing the women or whatever.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the stuff is to do with territory, but also territory of women ownership.
Oh, for the greyback it is, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, if we were naturally living as we were sort of bred to do, we wouldn't have a single wife, would we? We'd be killing anyone who comes near all of our women, and we'd be owning all the women in our domain until we were too weak to defend ourselves, at which point the women, evil as it might seem, would just leave us immediately and go straight after the young.
Passed on to the next sexy young.
Yeah, that's right. They would. Isn't that strange? Like, I mean, to think about, okay, I often think of this from the male's perspective because I am male. Like, if I was an ape, if I was a greyback, I would conquer and control the area, and any male who came in my vicinity would be a threat, and I would have to scare him away or kill him or fight him or whatever, right? Yeah. Even my sons, right? Because they might want to have sex with all their cousins and stuff and their mum, who's like, they belong to me, right? They belong to me. But with a woman, a female version of an ape-like behavior would be, I want to have sex with the most powerful man there is.
Because I want the best babies.
Is that what it is?
Well, I think
they don't know that they want the best babies. They want, like monkeys, they wouldn't, and apes, they wouldn't think long term.
No, it's not
instinctively, maybe.
It's not. Yeah, it's an instinct. It's not a thought process.
Does that make you curious about what instincts are? Like built-in knowledge?
Yeah, well, you've owned dogs. You've owned dogs before. You've seen it before.
Yeah, I'm impressed with the built-in bios that humans and animals are born with. Like we're born with the ability to suck a nipple and squeeze somebody's thumb, right?
Yeah. That's
about it.
Yeah, that's right.
We're pretty useless. But that's still good. I mean, if you couldn't suck a nipple when you're born, you're dead.
You're dead.
We can breathe. Okay, but we can also breathe. We can breathe after we've coughed out our whatever that stuff is, right? We can suck a nipple and we can hold onto a thumb, which is basically the equivalent of holding onto our mother as she climbs a tree, I guess.
Yeah, whereas a newly born deer will get up within a few minutes of being popped out and can walk.
Well, I mean, humans are born as fetuses because the cavities of females never evolved big enough to allow the human head at its full brain size.
Ah, yeah, right. Yeah.
Because the human brains became so big that we couldn't squeeze ourselves out any bigger or something. And otherwise, women would be all misshapen.
Evolution hasn't caught up with the giant vagina yet.
Yeah, we haven't got a giant vagina yet. Peter, you don't have a big enough vagina at this point in history. I don't mean to insult you, but that's true.
Oh, dear.